Gonzaga and Wake Forest.
We rock in the new year on ACC Sunday Night Hoops with a matchup between two exciting teams looking to make it back to the big dance in March. The home team, Wake Forest Demon Deacons, as usual, are a highly charged athletic squad. The Gonzaga Bulldogs are a disciplined team with a swagger. An exciting start to the new year. Gonzaga and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. The action starts now on ACC Sunday Night Hoops.
Welcome to Winston-Salem, North Carolina and Lawrence Joel Coliseum. The first of 3 games we'll bring you today on ACC Sunday Night Hoops featuring the Gonzaga Bulldogs and the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Good afternoon, everybody, and Happy New Year. Steve Martin here along with Larry Conley. Wake Forest comes in here, Larry, as one of the youngest teams in the country, let alone the ACC. 2 dynamic freshmen in J.T. Terrell and Travis McKay. That can be great, but it also can be a detriment at times.
Steve, they've had a lot of problems, and one of them has been turnovers, and a lot of them self-inflicted mistakes on their part. They've got to get that corrected. The other part of it is the offensive rebounding by their opponents.
And you take a look at our Pizza Hut favorite stat, and it shows very true right here. The number of points that opponents and the percentage it represents of their scoring off turnovers and second chance points. And they've got to correct that today because they're going to face a Gonzaga team that is outstanding on the boards. 11.5 offensive rebounds a game. They are rugged inside. If Jeff Bezdelic has a New Year's resolution, it's to correct those 2 critical areas.
As we look into the ACC schedule, 2 things happen. Number 1, I don't sleep easy at night. That's number 1. Number 2, we need to continue, no matter who we play, to not turn the ball over at the rate we're turning the ball over. We're averaging 17-plus turnovers a game, and they're bad turnovers, turnovers that we can't defend, turnovers that lead to easy points for our opponent. That has got to cut way down to almost single digits. Literally, we need to make sure that if we do turn the ball over 9-10 times a game, that they're turnovers that we can defend, that we can set our defense up, that the opponent's taking the ball out of bounds and not running down the court, dunking the ball, or laying it up and in on us.
Gonzaga is a team that can turn your turnovers into points in a hurry. When we come back, we'll take a look at their trip across country in a very short amount of time as the Zags come to Winston-Salem to take on the Deacons on ACC Sunday Night Hoop. Welcome back to ACC Sunday Night Hoops, brought to you by Pizza Hut. It's Gonzaga and Wake Forest. It's been quite a trip for Gonzaga to get here. With that story, let's bring in the 3rd member of our broadcast crew, Stephanie Reddy.
Thank you so much, Stephen. Happy New Year. If you had a hectic New Year's, imagine what this Gonzaga team has had to endure in the last 37 hours. They played New Year's Eve in Spokane, Washington. That game ended just after midnight, and then the very next morning, early bus to an early morning flight. Then when they land, cross-country, of course, in Winston-Salem, they immediately go get taped, watch film for half an hour, and then straight to practice last night. When they tip off today, it will be about 37 hours after their New Year's Eve game has ended. And this is the 2nd straight year they've done it. Last year, when they flew to Chicago, they ended up winning in overtime. The Bulldogs hoping that the new year will bring another victory again this year. All right, we're going to send you guys on a short commercial break. On the other side of it, Steve and Larry will have the lineups and the tip-off right after this.
PG-13.
ACC Sunday Night Hoops is delivered to you by Pizza Hut. What's better than getting your favorite pizza? Getting all your favorite pizzas at new lower menu prices. Your favorites, your Pizza Hut. and by the Lexus December to Remember sales event. Now for a limited time at your Lexus dealer. We welcome you back to Winston-Salem for ACC Sunday Night Hoops. Gonzaga and Wake Forest. Let's take a look at our starting lineups brought to you by Golden Corral. For the visitors from Gonzaga and Spokane, Washington, it's going to be Matisse Kaita, Elias Harris, who had 22 against Oklahoma State. Robert Sacre is in the middle, Dimitri Goodson and Stephen Gray. For Wake Forest, they have 5 double-digit scores. You'll see 4 in the starting lineup. The one exception, Carson DeRozier's, along with Clark, Harris, Stewart, and Mackay, who's an outstanding freshman. And we're just about ready to go. Tip-off's controlled by Gonzaga in their road blue with white and red piping. And glad you could spend some time with us. We go to Charlottesville, Virginia later today and off to Durham, North Carolina tonight.
Good matchup, boy, in that third game tonight with Miami and Duke going at each other. This was a good one. Wake Forest opens up in the zone defense.
Inside it goes now to Harris. Gray had 35 points in the loss to San Diego State. Ball knocked away and stolen inside by Wake's Ari Stewart. Up into front court. That's Mackay, can't get it to go. Sacre gets the rebound. And here's Dimitri Goodson. Stephen Gray. Stephen Gray, trying to work his way back from back spasms, has been rather tentative with his offensive work.
Yeah, he actually got them in the game at Baylor, and really has been the last couple of games not been playing up to his capabilities. He did have 10 points and 6 assists in that win against Oklahoma State on Friday night.
And you know, he didn't get going until late in that game. He was awfully tentative. Got most of his assists early.
Stevie's quality player. He had a great year last year for Gonzaga.
An all West Coast Conference selection. And we got a blocking foul. It's going to be charged now. That's going to be on Gray. It'll be his first. Here's Mark Few, 12th season as Gonzaga head coach. He's taken them to 11 consecutive NCAA tournaments, several Sweet 16s, Coach of the Year 10 years running.
Here's one of those unforced errors. I mean, there was no defense on him right there, and just underneath, Stewart just lost the basketball and kicked it out of bounds, and now Gonzaga's going to get the ball back. Something we talked about at the top of the show, and I know Jeff is trying to get this corrected. These small little mistakes are killing Wake Forest. Their assist-to-turnover ratio, one of the worst in the ACC, if not at the bottom, certainly close to the bottom. This is a team that needs to correct those mistakes.
Here's Gonzaga out front. Kaita is a native of France. This is a team with an international flavor from Gonzaga. They have 2 players from Germany, 2 or 3 from Canada, and they throw the ball away here early. They average about 15 turnovers a game. Wake Forest 16 and a half.
Yeah, the assist-to-turnover ratio is 12 assists to 16 turnovers for Wake Forest. That's not a good number. You'd like to have it positive on the other side. Good pressure outside. Dimitri Goodson is one of their better defenders at Gonzaga.
And ball pressure will be key for Gonzaga because Wake really is without a true point guard on the floor. Their true freshman Tony Chenault is out with an injury. He should come back late in January. Gary Clark at the elbow has had a very good start to the season. Mackay can't get to the rebound, and it's going to be Gonzaga ball.
Slow start on the part of both clubs right now. Neither one of them can find the basket.
Dimitri Goodson brings it up in the front court now for Gonzaga. Zags are 9 and 5. They have won 5 straight and played Friday night in Spokane. Inside, Sacre up and in.
Well, that was a tough catch and finish.
Against 2 defenders.
Yeah, one guy in the back of him, one in the front. He was able to gather it in and get his feet underneath of him to get up and get it in.
Here's Mackay out on the wing, man-to-man now for Gonzaga.
Good ball fake.
Harris gets into the paint. Goes right to the rim, and good idea, but it just couldn't come through. Here's Goodson. On the wing, Stephen Gray. Goodson gets into the box. And DeRozier, a freshman from Windham, New Hampshire. Ari Stewart, baseline jumper. Wake still looking for their first 2. Goodson on the way.
Great pass.
Kaita with a lay-in.
What a terrific delivery of the pass by Dimitri Goodson.
Matisse Kaita with the shot. And there's the 3 ball from Travis Mackay.
Now look at him rolling. He has not been shooting the ball well from beyond that 3-point arc.
6 of 21, Larry, coming in.
They're going to say that now it's a 2.
All right. 4-2.
Surprising to see Wake Forest in the 2-3 zone. Usually Jeff likes to play that man-to-man defense.
This is a Gonzaga team that doesn't rely on the three. They like to go inside, and they've got to protect themselves like they just did against Robert Sacre. And then we've got a whistle and an offensive foul on C.J. Harris. That's his first.
Harris over penetrating there. He actually had an opening on the left side and could have given it up. Decided to make the play on his own. A nice job defensively by Goodson to get his body in front there to draw that player control foul.
You know, you look at Dimitri Goodson, and he doesn't score an awful lot. His assist total is around 2.5 to 3, but he does a lot of things. He can hang on to the ball, make things happen, and defensively do things like that. Take a charge. Here's Gray.
Wake Forest back in the man-to-man.
Yep. And now a whistle and a travel violation on Sacre. Robert Sacre from North Vancouver, British Columbia.
Sacre's got a target on his back. He has developed into a really good player, and for teams that really scout and get prepared to play Gonzaga, they know how good he really is. He's got to get rid of that ball if he doesn't have the shot quickly.
Here comes the three from outside, no good. And Goodson, the smallest player on the floor for Gonzaga, gets the rebound. Sacre will try it from outside and hit it. He's got good range for a big man. Sacre makes it 6-2.
That was a terrific mid-range jump shot for him. If he can take it out there, he's an NBA player if he can take it out there at 7 feet.
Here's the shot from the wing by Gary Clark. Three-pointer by Gary Clark, who's hitting 2 of every 3 that he throws up there.
Isn't that unbelievable? I mean, the shooting, three-point shooting, it's incredible.
Tied it with a nice move, but couldn't pay it off. C.J. Harris runs out. Harris heads in and gets fouled this time by Dimitri Goodson. And that brings a timeout here in Winston-Salem. 15-16 left in the first half, and the visitors are up by 1.
Coverage as the Lakers take on the Grizzlies. Tonight on Fox Sports West, presented by CarMax.
Gonzaga with a 6-5 lead over Wake Forest over the first 4.5 minutes here in Winston-Salem. The head man of the Demon Deacons is one of 3 new head coaches in the conference this year, Jeff Bezdelic. You see his career record, his record at Air Force. He's also coached in Colorado and has extensive assistant and head coaching experience in the NBA. His head coaching experience is the first college coach for Carmelo Anthony of the Denver Nuggets.
Assistant with the Washington Bullets for 6 years, assistant with the Miami Heat for 6 years, and was the head coach of the Denver Nuggets for 3 years.
Wake Forest with the ball after the foul to Dimitri Goodson. Skip it across the defense to Stewart, and he is fouled and into the ball game now for the first time. Manny Arup, 6'6", out of Edmonton, Alberta. 3 Canadian products on the team.
You get 5 international players on this squad at Gonzaga.
Canada's in their backyard. North Vancouver is not that far from Spokane. Here's Harris with a miss from the perimeter. Dimitri Goodson into front court now for Gonzaga.
Nice pass inside.
And a foul coming up. Looks like it's going to be Rozier's. They are paying attention, and they should, to Robert Sacre.
Well, he's the tallest player on the floor out there right now. I mean, he's the guy that, for Gonzaga anyway, that offensively they've got to be concerned about.
There's another one, Gray, and he's fouled by Gary Clark. That's going to be his first.
Just talking to Ray Giacolotti, who's the assistant coach for Gonzaga this morning at breakfast, and he was telling me the 2 guys that really send them or really make them go are Robert Sacre and Stephen Gray. And I would understand that. I mean, Gray's a senior, Sacre is a junior. Gray, an interesting story. Actually, an actor.
Yes.
And has performed on the stage in a couple of plays, Romeo and Juliet. And one of the plays that he was in that I'm sure he's not going to pass on to his coach, Mark Few, was Take Me Out. He doesn't want that in this particular game.
No, he doesn't. 13.8, but he's slowed, as Larry said, by a back spasm suffered in the Baylor game. And speaking of Baylor, this Gonzaga team has played a rugged non-conference schedule. They set up a zone press that Mackay finally gets his hands under. J.T. Terrell, a freshman, is in the ball game. Here's a steal by Stephen Gray. And they'll lay it in.
Gray leads Gonzaga in steals.